G'day guys, and today's show we're not going to do the review, which is between Geelong and the Western Bulldogs at Simonds Stadium, mate. Last night was an amazing win by the Cats. Emphatic victory, Geelong getting home by 23 points, and it's at 11 in a row against the Dogs. It's fair to say, I've got the wood over them at the moment. Just a complete 360 with what we've produced and what we've stood for as a footy club over the last 3 weeks, and a really brilliant victory by the guys. So impressed with their effort. And, mate, we were there last night. The whole crew were there for the first time this year, so that was really good to see. You really loved the second quarter. How'd you see the game?
Yeah, no, it was good to all get there. There's still far between these days with work and other things, so no, it was good. And obviously the first game at the near stand was exciting and big crowd, but no, they played fantastic. And sort of touching on a few things we said last week, obviously there were a lot of concerns about us. We were pretty worried, and it was really pleasing to see that sort of performance. I mean, we didn't rule that sort of performance out last week, but after those 3 weeks and those 3 losses, you've started to lose a bit of faith and confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
They just cracked in so hard, and their tackling pressure was just unbelievable. As the numbers suggest, I mean, it was through the roof. Particularly that second quarter was some of the most relentless tackling pressure you'll ever see, and just pressure around the contest in general, which a lot of the win was built around. But obviously the Dogs, after half-time, were going to come back. We knew they'd have some sort of answer. They're a quality team, and they did. And they came back pretty hard at it. But I think it was even more pleasing the fact that at three-quarter time, a lot of people would have been saying, we've played well at stages throughout this game, but they're just going to come over the top of us now. The better side's going to come through. But certainly we responded. I think, it's tough to say. Like, the second quarter was unbelievable, but that last quarter was probably just as pleasing. The fact that we were really put to the test. I mean, it's all well and good when the emotions flowing through the veins as you're tackling like men possess, but when you've got to turn the switch on and really fire up at three-quarter time against a quality team, I was wrapped with that. So I think my main takeaways are just the pressure and the intent, which when you see that, you wonder how we can produce performances like we have.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
No one could work the ball like anyone would like to through that sort of pressure, and then really pleasing with some of our leaders showing the way when the going got tough. And I think Selwood and Dangerfield again were dominant, but there were a few others in there too. So they were probably our best again, which a lot of teams' best players always are. But I think there were quite a few other guys coming along for the ride, which was pleasing. So really wrapped with the result, mate. I think we both headed to the game not expecting to win, but certainly with a feeling that we can certainly produce some quality stuff, particularly at home.
Yeah, definitely.
It was great to see that we did. And, I mean, you said it prior to the game, season on the line stuff, and it does sort of put our season momentarily back on the rails.
Yeah.
And gives us a blueprint for what it's about. But give us some of your thoughts anyway, mate. I think clearly one of the most pleasing performances for some time.
Certainly, yeah. I think club record on the tackle front, 134 tackles, and there's just so many players, like 18 tackles, 17 tackles. It's like, what? These numbers are unheard of. And it was so awesome to see that they just really cracked in. The start of the game, we went okay. We were in and around it. Dangerfield on fire and had an amazing first half and all-round an amazing game. But yeah, you touched on it. I think that in the second term as well, we kept the Dogs scoreless. That's the reigning premier. Keeping them scoreless in a quarter is pretty impressive. Look, it's underrated doing that to any club. That's quite an effort, no matter who you're up against. Like generally, if you're up against anyone, they'll score. But we just kept it in our 50. The pressure and the setup with our zone was really pleasing to see. Our zone works well if there's pressure up the field, and that's been pretty well documented. If we don't apply pressure, then we look very slow, we look very hesitant, we look rattled. So certainly positive to rectify that. And we were a bit down in the third term. The Dogs got back on top, and they were always going to come back on top. Your old man wasn't too pleased with it, but we did what the Dogs did in the third term to them in the second term. So, and they're a good side. So, I mean, you're never going to have a perfect game against a quality side most of the time. So, but as I said, or as you were saying before, matey, the last quarter was probably the cream on the cake, really. A lot of people weren't too sure. I was pretty confident going into the last quarter. I don't know how I was confident, but I just had a good feeling. Our last quarters this year have been really promising, and the Dogs have had their turn of momentum. It doesn't always work like that, but we were able to wrest it back and respond in an emphatic fashion and get a really good win up the sleeve. So, yeah, again, from the top, the tackling pressure was frenetic, amazing. I'd love to see that each week, but you're not going to get that every week because we were basically responding emotionally. But certainly positive seeing those signs, just those second-tier players, which I think you'll talk about a little bit in sort of the votes and the chopping block. I'll delve into those a little bit later. But, yeah, our execution was slightly better. It was poor at times, but wet night and a lot of pressure around the ball. There was over 200 tackles between the two teams, so it's always going to be tough. And our run and spread was a lot better, which obviously allowed us to get a lot of entries in those really clean centre clearances from Dangerfield and Selwyn in particular, especially in that last quarter. They were like gold. They just got a lovely tap from Zach Smith, and they were off. And you're hard to stop when you've got one-on-ones inside your 50 and you've got Dangerfield and Selwood delivering it down your throat. So their defence did stand up pretty well, and we were pretty accurate. But look, overall, pretty pleasing signs. Looking at the stats here, matey, nothing too outstanding. Won the clearances and definitely would have won centre clearances, I would have thought. Contested possessions, inside 50s and the tackles. So it's really pleasing signs, and that's kind of the benchmark now for the Cats, but they're not going to produce that every week, which is kind of interesting. So, look, very pleased with the game, and hopefully puts us back on track. But as pleased as I am with the game, mate, and pleased is the word of this podcast, if you like. It's all going to be about the next few weeks for the Cats and how they respond to a good win.
Yeah, that's right. It'll be all about how we can actually go about consistently getting that sort of effort, isn't it? Because I think a lot of that second term was, like you said, based around real emotional stuff. You got to find that a bit easier than really just in and proving a point. You've just got to do it as your default, I suppose.
Become the standard. We'll move into the votes, matey, and saw it somewhat similarly. A couple of superstars, and see how you go with it. What have you got?
Yeah, obviously, Dangerfield was best on ground. Like you said, that first half was one of the best first halves you're likely to see. He was amazing, 3 votes. And obviously Selwood as well. I mean, he was fantastic too, particularly that last quarter. Both he and Dangerfield just lifted brilliantly and really showed the way out of the clearance, like you said. So, again, I thought they were our 2 best players, and I am denied about the 1 vote, but in the end I have given it to Harry Taylor. I mean, the 5 goals, some real good pressure, which is something we maybe thought could have been a negative for him in attack, but he was really good. And I think finished off some good work that we did. It wasn't as though he was conducting. I really liked the way Zach Smith stood up late. Zach Tui, I thought was really impressive. Lockie Henderson, I thought was great. And Duncan and Selwood were there in and under work, as well as a bit of outside stuff. I thought were really impressive. So, thankful there were a few to choose from, but got a very similar view. So, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty similar, mate. 35 tackles between Duncan and Scott Selwood, so that's very impressive and out of this world, really. So I've given the 3. I've given the 3 to Dangerfield, 36 touches, 12 tackles, 4 goals. That's just unbelievable numbers. The numbers speak for themselves, and he was just a beast around the contest, kicking goals left, right, and centre, boundary line, wherever he liked. So that was awesome to see. Giving the 2 votes to Selwood, 29 touches, 8 tackles, 4 marks, and also kicked a goal. Loved his work in and around the contest, and was a real igniter for us as well, and he just went in so hard, like his life depended on it. So that was just so pleasing to see. And yeah, with you as well, matey, on Harry Taylor, 13 touches, 5 marks, 5 tackles, very good pressure there, and also kicked the 5 goals. He finished off a lot of great work, as you mentioned, and I really liked his pressure and the way he went about it. And kicking 5 goals, he kicked 5 against the Dogs a few years ago, actually, and Eddie had, so he does like the Dogs, and it's not always easy, and it's finally the breakout game that he and I guess the coaching staff have been expecting. So really promising to see that. So some pretty good players, plenty to choose from. Zach Smith was very good as well. And Scooter Selwood, Mitch Duncan, 18 tackles, 31 touches, amazing stuff there. And Tui was awesome as well. Plenty of players that did a great job. Murdoch's hardest game for the year. So it was some pretty happy cats there that were working hard. And I guess we'll move into the chopping block. It'll be kind of tough this week, matey, but who have you got for us this week?
Yeah, definitely, mate. Well, there are a few guys who probably still didn't have the game so long. I think probably Blitzar's is one who continues to struggle to find his form. It's just a little bit, I think that's probably just a confidence. He used to be so composed in around the stoppage, and he's maybe just lacking a little bit of confidence. But I think he's one guy who could probably do with a bit of the twos, because he's really just not giving it too much anywhere. He's playing a range of positions at times, but probably not playing extremely well. Something out of nothing to kick 2 goals, which we know he can do, but I don't think there were too many guys on form. Maybe just those couple. Cockatoo, I haven't heard the severity on his injury, but that's really disappointing. I mean, he's a guy that we just know can provide X factor in a team that perhaps doesn't have too much. And I think it was a hamstring I heard of the game. Again, hammies these days could be anything. It could be just a little one, a couple of weeks, or it could be a brutal one. We hope it's not, but we can see him miss a lot of weeks sometimes with hamstrings lately. So let's hope that it's nothing like that. But of course, probably Hall and Smith would likely return if it was someone like a Blitzards or something like that. But I think with Cockatoo, they might want to find some pace and inject it. So it's a pity that Harper, Gregson and McCarthy are all unavailable.
Oh, yeah, it's shocking.
Disappointing, because they'd just simply be a like for like. But I will say, just quickly too, I mean, Jordan Murdoch came into the side for a laid out in Cam Guthrie, who we presume will return because he was just sick. So imagine he'd come in, but Murdoch was actually really good.
Yeah, I liked his game.
Was right up there with his best games for the club. So really pleased. He cracked in. He's often a whipping boy for us, but when you whip him, you got to give him his credit when it's due. And I thought he cracked in really hard, made some tackles, put his body on the line. Yeah,
he did for once.
He was really impressive. Not even just for Murdoch standards. I thought he was in our best 7 or 8 players. So really good to see. But do you have anyone to add to that list, mate? I thought our back 6 looked as organised as it ever has this season, and a lot of that's to do with, like you said, the pressure up the ground and giving them first look in the aerial contest. But I don't reckon off a win like that they'd be making too many changes, that's for sure. But anything to add to the old chopping block?
Yeah, did you make a mention to Parsons at all?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Parsons, yeah, true. He did some nice things, didn't he? But probably the quantity wasn't quite there. Do you reckon he could be in the frame to perhaps be dropped?
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him, but I would actually persist with him. He didn't have a great game, but I felt as the game sort of went on, he sort of got into it a little bit more. If he was one of your better players, you would probably drop him from that, but did lay 5 tackles there. And as you were saying about Murdoch before, he laid 8. I like what Parsons can produce. I'll just need to see a little bit more from him. And obviously they've got to give him a red hot crack in a number of weeks to actually see what he's made of. You can't just drop a bloke that's had 2 or 3 games. So, look, I'm happy to persist with him. You mentioned a little bit about O'Connor. He loves to handball, and gee, that kick he couldn't kick a 15-metre pass to down the boundary line, no pressure. I think it was to Duncan, and he missed a lot. It was pretty disappointing. He's okay, and I know he's a second game player. We're being harsh on him, but yeah, I'd like to see a bit more mongrel from him or something like that. But again, he's a second game player, so it's hard to rip into a bloke that's just started.
Yeah, absolutely. But certainly a few young guys that will provide a little bit of fluctuation in their performance, that's for sure.
Yeah, I guess I've got a bit of a blowtorch for Tommy Hawkins. Mate, stop going for Mark of the Year every time the ball gets kicked inside 50.
Yeah. He's done that a couple of weeks in a row now, and I do not know what he's doing. I mean, you're not going to take the grab, and you're more likely going to give a free away. So
it's a lose-lose. I'm going to give him a tweet later on today, mate, and get stuck into him.
Yeah, get on the Twitter, mate.
Alrighty. So after next week?
Absolutely, we'll be back watching footy again. It'll be nice.
You got the day off, or you reckon you'll be there?
I have Friday, Saturday off, so it's a Thursday game, I believe. So I'll look to get out of work on time and make the trip down. So it should be nice. Yeah, I'm sure I'll get there.
Perfect, mate. Lovely work. All right, so we got Port Adelaide at Etihad at Simonds Stadium. We've played too many games in Melbourne. So we got Port at home, which will be pretty good to see. We've had a really good record against them in recent times, minus 2014, really. The last time I think they came down, I think Monfrey's kicked 7, so that would have been in 2013, and they came close when we were up by 9 goals, and then we ended up winning by 4 goals. So they came at us late in the last quarter, but going reasonably confident. I think Port are a pretty good side. They're up there, but I don't think they're top of the top as they think they are. But yeah, look, we'll certainly have our challenges, and they'll certainly match us, if not beat us for pace. And if we just got to bring similar intensity. Like if anyone played us last night, we'd probably beat anyone. Let's be honest, without being cocky or arrogant. Look, the Dogs are reigning premiers. They're a really good side this year, and look, we could have won by much more really if we capitalised slightly more in the second term. Because yeah, look, the Dogs had a good third term, but they kicked 6. They were just really taking their opportunities. But yeah, Port Adelaide will certainly have our measure. They'll certainly be very challenging, and they're a very fast side, and that can be very dangerous against a team like us. But at the Cauldron, I'm back on the Cats bandwagon, mate. I nearly wanted to tip them against the Dogs, but wasn't brave enough, and come back to buy me once again. So we can keep it up against Port. How do you reckon it'll go, mate?
Yeah, no, certainly. Off the back of last night, it is pretty simple, really. I mean, you bring that sort of footy and pressure around the ball, and it wasn't just all the pressure. It was we played with far better system and organisation as well. So yeah, if we can bring anything near that, and I think the second term's probably going to be like a bit of an outlier that you can rarely replicate. But
yeah,
if you get 80% of that, that's great anyway. So
for sure,
I would certainly imagine that if we can produce that, and that'll be the test, is not being an inconsistent side that we've become.
Yep.
If we can continue that and maybe start to turn a bit of a corner, then yeah, I think we should be able to beat Port, because like you said, they're a good side, but perhaps a team that has struggled to really knock off those bigger teams away from home. Like, I mean, they've really found it tough coming to Geelong more often than not, as most clubs do. So I think that's a massive advantage. Our home ground is so good there. We play it. I mean, but yeah, we're fairly confident after last night, but there is that little question in your head going, well, they still haven't just on a consistent basis for me to get in without any doubt. Won the blueprint for our best footy. Now it's about sticking to that, really managing to deliver that regularly. So I think it'll be another big game at home, and I look forward to getting along, because there'll be probably minimal games that we do all get together. That should be in the lot. That'll be something to look forward to.
Spot on, matey. Alrighty. Hopefully, Cats get a win next week against Port Adelaide. Really impressive performance against the Dogs, and probably one of the most pressured results the Cats have delivered. I think most club tackles been 134, and so promising to see. We just want to see similar stuff again next week against Port Adelaide, and that should hopefully hold us in pretty good stead to get the job done at home. So that's it from us today with the review. Thanks for joining in, mate, from the road. Its challenges slightly cut us out a bit, so do apologise for the audio. Thanks for listening in, guys. Don't forget to give us a like, share it around, subscribe as well, and Darijoe will have the Geelong Goal video highlights up. I'll check the link in the description for you guys to check those goals out. There were 16 of them, 16 beauties, so get along to those. And thanks very much for sticking around. We'll catch you guys on the next one.